Shabbat Shalom, you guys. Happy Friday night. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are at peace and at rest wherever you are. I am. Last week I got to actually say the official Shabbat prayers over my challah and my wine and my candles. So I'm looking forward to doing the same this week. I have planned to make mushroom prosciutto risotto and salmon, and pretty excited about that. So yeah, that's what I have on my plans for the evening after our reading. Maybe even a ritual bath if I have time. It's kind of getting late, but I'm turned into a little night owl. But we are here for our weekend message, and we are using the Radiant Sun Oracle, and we're getting clarification from the Dreaming Way Tarot. And this is an extended reading on this morning or this afternoon's post on Instagram. And if you don't already follow me there, you can at Liz_Taylor_Magick. And so on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I do a post there for our progressing story that's unfolding over the week. And so, yeah, Friday tends to be quite reflective, our weekend message. But we've been consistently using the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, which I really like. And we'll just get right into it. So we pulled Egotism, which is Mars in Leo, followed by Enterprise, which is Jupiter in Aries. We pulled Innovation, which is Jupiter in Aquarius. And we pulled Empathy, which is the Moon in Pisces. And this has actually come up several times since I gotten this deck. So very interesting. I think that's an ongoing theme for us, and it has been recently. So underneath Egotism, we got the Three of Swords. Underneath Enterprise, we got Ten of Swords. Underneath Innovation, we got Six of Swords. And then underneath Empathy, we got Four of Pentacles. And our final outcome was Page of Cups, but also I feel like Page of Cups was sort of attached to Empathy. And also sort of at the center of it all was the Six of Swords, sort of like how the context of it was coming through to me today. So yes, there are a few layers of this message, and I feel like they might be all coming forward at the same time. So bear with me. It's like a casserole of storylines and plots. Just starting with the Oracle cards. Egotism, coming up with Enterprise, coming up with Innovation, and coming up with Empathy. Just these cards without the context, and even with the added context of the tarot cards, there's like this message coming through to me about something that we are creating that has the potential to yield great value, and has the potential to really give great value to others. The Empathy card suggests that you have, like, all of these cards, there's like a creative message and a leadership message and a message of popularity. And so the Egotism card talks about like taking a lot of that angsty energy of like wanting to get in there and do something and make something, or like a crazy sex drive, you know, and taking all that angst and putting it into like a creative project. or a creative idea that you're putting out there to other people that are feeding you with their excitement and enthusiasm as well. So it's about proudly putting something out there, and taking action like in a very optimistic and gung-ho way, and putting a lot of passion and love in it, but like really just getting in there and getting your hands dirty, and taking inspired action without without getting too controlling or forceful about the direction. And then the innovation card talks about being open to taking like new and innovative approaches to how you're going about this. You don't want to force anything that's not working, but you may have new ideas worth exploring around that. Because they're like with the moon in Pisces, it says that you have like this instinct about what people will respond to and what they need and what they will, like things that you can create that will be profitable and good business ideas that people want and need. So without anything else, there's some sort of idea or goal right now that we have, where I believe that we are taking our experience or our special talents or our something that's unique to us, and we're putting it together in such a way that we're creating something that is going to be, it's not like we're all launching a company or a product or something, but there may be something that we're doing that it's like we're putting it out there, and it's like people are, it's helping others. Or it's inspiring others, or something like that to that effect. But it's something that could yield long-term value, and if it is a product or a business, it could be very profitable. But you don't want to like force it too hard, and be open to new ideas, and don't get too stuck going down in any one direction if it's not going well. So the egotism card with the Three of Swords, I feel that in regards to maybe how we're approaching our goals or others in our life, there's something that about this that we need to like take a chill pill or like not be too forceful. Because leading up to this week, we've had messages of breathe, retreat, giving space, like don't be too, forceful or pushy, be in in an active, passive, feminine power state, where you're intentionally taking a step back, not, out of laziness or fear, but because that's the wise thing to do. If you push your agenda forward too hard, or you're too pushy or too competitive, or you push your way into the position of whatever, it could result in disappointment. It could backfire. It could blow up in your face. It could result in separation or sadness or heartbreak or heartache. So right now, with the other cards around egotism, it's like shine bright and shine authentically according to you, but keep it on the up and ups and stay very highbrow, and don't get caught up in any drama, and don't cause any drama, right? You want to be cooperative and thinking of the highest good of all right now. So we're practicing the restriction of receiving for the self alone. And we are practicing restriction of the need for instant relief or instant gratification, right? We're not instantly pacifying the flesh. We're denying instant gratification for the trade-off of long-term value in the end. So this might mean, putting our ego aside and doing something like biting our tongue or biting our lip, or just keeping our head down and staying focused on our what we're creating, right? So if you are feeling triggered, because there's been a lot of things coming up over the last couple of weeks that have been working on us to trigger us, to bring up those subconscious motivations that we're not conscious of. And so it's good that the volume is getting cranked up and like things are getting more tense and things are getting more and more triggering and we're having to practice more and more restriction, because the harder it is, the more power that is behind the goodness that is coming. It's like more light is created when the darkness is harder. So in a way, that's very positive and that's a really great opportunity. But yeah, just be careful to not be bossy. Don't be hostile. I'm telling myself too, I'm an Aries, Libra rising. I'm air, I'm fire. I've got every kind of genetics in me that makes me a fiery, tempery person. I'm working on it. But yeah, even little steps help. But try to really restrict that ego and think of the highest good of all. So up next, we have Enterprise, and we also have that with the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords is never really a very pleasant card to see because it shows someone who's at their rock bottom. But the rock bottom is great because it's like as far as you could go with your mental mental agony in the sword suit, and it's just like you're just like, I can't go any further. And so this is the death and rebirth. This is the end of a difficult cycle and the promise of a new day to come and a new day to dawn. And a new dawn actually came up in our manifestation oracle reading earlier in the week on Tuesday. So yeah, it's just that like that right now, there's a lot of enthusiasm about wanting to move forward and create. But maybe there's a lot of healing still happening too, and a lot of like gathering the pieces together. And it looks like there's just still a lot of toxicity coming out and oozing out, and a lot of the pain and all of that buried toxicity from old wounds. This is coming out too. It's seeping forward. So yeah, be optimistic that the worst is behind you and go forward in a sense of enterprising. Like, so Jupiter and Aries together, it's like incredibly energetic and optimistic and under the assumption that everything is going to work out perfectly. So even though things may look like this, don't worry. Don't let your ego start chiming in and getting worried or neurotic or obsessive or taking it personally. Just be generous and understand and patient that this is the end of a difficult situation. And maybe in the past, you've been stung because maybe you've tried to put your enterprising hand at things before. Maybe you've tried to make your dreams come true, or you've put yourself out there in relationships and they blew up in your face. But we've got to move past that mentality and that foreboding expectation in order for like us to manifest good things, because otherwise our expectation of doom and gloom is going to keep us in a stalemate. And even if everything is ready to come in, it's like that's the limiting belief that's keeping us out of alignment from really aligning and unifying with our dreams and our goals and our fulfillment. So I mean, even if you are getting everything that you want, but your mentality is still in this state, you can get it all and it will not be enjoyable. It will still just be, because like, look at what's happening here is that behind the swords, there's like this gorgeous, what looks like this white peony or something, and like white peonies that are cradling this person who's sort of in this like shirt that almost looks like a bandage or like a straitjacket. And they're like, oh, I can't even take it. Like there's like all this beauty around them ready to happen, but they're just like, I still have all these swords. So it's like, even if there's all of this stuff that's ready to come in, these acorns that are like potential that can really happen, it's just that like this has to complete itself. This cycle has to be completed before anything can go forward. Which I believe that we are on the way, because Six of Swords came up after that. And Six of Swords talks about like victory after a battle, or the sun coming out after a storm. This is like moving forward from a difficult situation toward like more promising horizons. And so the innovation card talks about thinking about things from like from a very ethical perspective and thinking about the bigger picture and what's good for others as well as the self. It is being open-minded, it is being original and inventive and resourceful. But ultimately, it is very ethical. And so in order to get where we want to go, we're going to have to take the high road, right? We're going to have to think about all the people involved or all the elements that are involved in the situation when we're making our decisions on building a company, on, you know, building like a future with whatever, building your dreams, you know, deciding who you want to publish with or something like that. I mean, these are like big decisions to make. So, is there anything else from innovation that I'm remembering? The interests of their fellow humans are important to people with this planet sign combination, and a code of ethics that is universal has great appeal. Open-minded. Oh, there's like again and again, these cards talk about being popular with people, but it's like not by force. It's by like being, like people trust this character, they trust enterprise, that Jupiter in Aries, it's like so optimistic and enthusiastic, and it wins a lot of popularity. But then so does this, because they're so charitable and humane and like inventive. People really like this. But like the pitfall of this person or the character that has Jupiter in Aquarius is that they can become unreliable because their attention can go to like every shiny object, or their ideas can be so prolific that they scatter their energies and they waste their potential and squander it because they don't focus in on one thing. So, you know, this could be, you know, that whole like, don't let your energies be scattered. Rein in your focus and your intention, but don't be closed off and don't be self-centered. Like, think about the grand scheme of it, because that's what's really going to move us forward. Like this whole reading, it keeps circling back to like not just thinking of ourselves alone, but doing what's best for the group and not forcing anything, or like doing what's best for like the highest good of all and not pushing anything along. Because if we do, like I feel like the Four of Pentacles came up, and so many times like it's pointed out that the person who's sitting, this can be a person who's trying to maintain control of the situation and is like keeping themselves blocked off because they have this thing in front of their heart. They're like keeping their heart chakra blocked, and they're trying to like hold some things back, and they're trying to keep control over the situation. So it's like, if you're not empathetic to like someone else, and you're not caring about their needs, or you don't understand how they feel, and you're trying to push your agenda without considering them, it's just going to push people away, right? Like if you're trying too hard to get a position, you know, it might repel the hirer, or what have you. But I do feel that like the more gentle we are, and the more accepting, and the more patient, and the more we take all of that enthusiasm and just keep showing up and taking action in our own lane. Be passionate and full of life, and keep showing up and doing your thing in your lane, but don't be competitive, and don't try to be outdoing, and don't try to be scheming or forcing or manipulating or plotting, right? Just let things unfold naturally and stay in your lane. Keep working on your thing, keep working on yourself, but don't force anything, because you might be thwarting the universe, and the universe's help, and the universe's assistance, and divine, you know, intervention is trying to like intercede, and you're like forcing it and like pushing it away. Also, this is many times I think of the Four of Pentacles as building stability and security. And so it might mean that like not expecting too much out of a situation because it doesn't have enough security built to yield profits yet, right? So like, it's like taking care of your dream financially and not expecting your dream to take care of you financially until it grows there on its own. It's like the other day, it was last night during the Thirsty Thursday Romance Oracle reading. It was like all of the cards were like true love, like soulmate relationship, like all of this stuff. Then it was like unrequited. And so we were talking about how there's just maybe not enough resources right now to give fully to the whole situation, like a fully evolved situation, but it doesn't mean feelings aren't there, right? This is too. It's like have empathy don't be too hard on yourself while you're getting things going, or while someone else is like trying to get something started. If you're working with a partner on something, or if you whatever it might be, whatever it is that you want that maybe involves other parties or variables or elements, maybe it's just that the pieces are still coming together. And so be empathic about that, and compassionate, because ultimately underneath everything else, and then like continue to like really build up your security and your resources and all of that too. It never hurts. But I think at the end of it all, at the center of it all, if we're compassionate and we are not pushy and we stay in our own lane and we stay in our worth and we keep loving ourselves first and doing the work, then ultimately victory is at the center of it all and moving on from difficulty. And then the last result is the Page of Cups. And so what I saw in this was, in the artwork of this card, was that, the Page of Cups is a sensitive, caring, empathic listener that people go to and confide in, and she's a caring little friend, and it may not be a female. It's genderless. These court cards are genderless, but it is a feminine energy. It's a passive energy. It's a very gentle energy. And so to me, what I see is she has a whole pot of tea on her mind, right? So much to say, so much feeling, so many things that are brewing and stewing up in this head. But she's got a handle on it. I mean, she's got everything, strapped down, and she's level-headed enough to keep it in balance. And she's not letting more out than what she needs, right? So there is liquid in this cup, and the cup is there with water in it for these little fish. And she's not forcing the fish or like pushing the water at them or pouring out everything out of the spout, right? She is letting the fish just come to her. She's holding back, she's only pouring out what's going to be needed, enough to be needed and nourishing for, the fish to be coming to her. But it's not like she's not pouring everything out of the pot. And what I see here in her like bindings, like this ribbon around her waist, like to me that almost says it's like practicing restriction. It's like restricting the desire to receive for the self alone, restricting the desire for instant gratification. And so it's like she's got a pleasant look on her face, but she's not speaking, and she's like got her mouth shut. So it's like maybe there's stuff that you want to say right now, but maybe now is not the greatest time. Maybe it's about being a receptive and gentle and caring listener, and with an open heart, and not because you are collecting information and waiting for your big moment to like use it against someone or to plead your case or whatever, but because you really are trying to be open and understand others and be understanding and be empathic. And so I think in the end, when we come at this from a gentle strength and not force, then the fishies will come to our cup. All right. Otherwise, Page of Cups is it's emotional communication. Might be an offer or an apology or a heart-to-heart conversation, but it's small. It's not deep, or it's not huge. It's not like big promises or like a lot. It's just like it's something small. It's like a little offer, right? It's not the Knight of Cups offer. It's a little communication. So be kind and rewind. I don't know if you know about that. When there was videotapes, they used to say be kind, rewind, because you would take them back to the video store, and if you rented a tape that was not rewound, that was super annoying. So, all right, you guys. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I think that what we want will come through intentional release and passive receptivity, but not in a toxic, lazy, or manipulative, passive-aggressive way, but just in a state of acceptance and just beingness with the moment, and just accepting it, and being patient. Not driving any agendas or forcing anything, right? Not being competitive, not doing anything like that, just being soft. Well, I'll see y'all probably tomorrow for our Secret Teachings of Jesus. It's our Saturday night secret sermon, and I film those usually at midnight or later, so you'll probably see them Sunday unless you're up in the middle of the night or you're across the world. Ciao!